I'm one 28 male of 5 in a set of quintuplets. In order it goes Aidan, Beth, Charlotte, Deanna and me, Eric. It wasn't horrible and our parents did, in all honesty, a great job with all of us. The only problem we had was Aidan, who was the first out. He knew he was the first out, had a pretty big ego, felt he was superior to the other 4 of us and tried to push us around. Our parents did what they could to keep him in line and for the most part the rest of us would ignore him. 3 years ago my brother decided to marry his then girlfriend. Our family for the most part is pretty laid back. This is good because out of the 5 of us I'm the gay one. Up to a certain point it was never really an issue, or so I thought. His wife's family was the complete opposite, highly conservative and devout Catholic. Again, to each their own, and it wasn't anything for us to talk to him about. If she makes him happy, then there isn't anything we can do about it. When they got married, I wasn't included in any part of it. Her parents were paying for it and they had the final say and said they couldn't allow a gay person in the wedding party or in the church. My brothers, sisters and parents say they fought to get me invited but were shot down each time. My sisters were part of the wedding party but none of them declined. My dad offered to stay with me for the day and we would do something. I told him it was okay and both parents needed to be at the wedding. On the wedding day, a couple of friends took a day trip. We had a great time, but seeing Aidan get married would still have been nice. Not long after the wedding, I was on vacation and met someone. Long distance as it may be, 3 years later, we've been making it work. We've been talking about one of us moving, and I told him I loved Seattle and that if anyone was going to move, it would be me. Last night, Mom and Dad asked all of us to come for dinner. I didn't say much at all and everyone was talking and I was just listening on occasion, saying a yes or no or answering an easy question. My dad finally noticed, looked over and asked if I was okay. I just told him I had a lot on my mind and he asked what was going on. I said, I'm moving to Seattle. The room went crazy. I can't say I was being attacked, but it still felt like it with the way everyone was firing off all their questions and calling me an idiot for breaking the 5 of us up. Dinner ended shortly after, and Dad and I went out to his barn to talk for a long time. Whether he gave it to me or not, I'm going to move. But he gave me his blessing and told me he would help however he could. Today, Deanna and Beth came over and started right away. They started blaming Will for splitting the 5 of us up and calling me an idiot for not considering the rest of us. I told them it's not a big deal and at least one of us has the ambition to move on with their life. Am I the idiot for moving and breaking up the 5 of us? People move, it's part of life. You're an individual and not just part of a set. You can't be expected to spend the rest of your life consulting your siblings before making decisions just because you were womb mates. Not the idiot, and enjoy Seattle. I'm glad your dad is at least on your side. And hey, if they're talking about dividing the family, I'd know how you felt when you were not even invited to your brother's wedding. I hope their reactions were mostly due to shock, and they come to understand that you should do what makes you happy, and they should support you in that. They need to stop being so self-centered. It's unreasonable to expect that all 5 of you will Velcro together for life. Yeah, your brother was really the first one responsible for splitting you up when he allowed his brother to be excluded from his wedding, and the rest of the set decided to stand by him and not by you. If it was my family and one of us wasn't welcome, then none of us would have gone. So inform them that they all contributed to making you feel like an outsider. When they accepted, you'd be left out. It was your brother's wedding too, and it's on him for letting his wife and family dictate who was welcome. Update, am I the idiot for moving and breaking up the 5 of us? Thank you all for the wonderful responses. I get that quints are rare, but something that always needs to be taken into consideration is that family history plays a huge part in it. My mom's family is known for multiple births. My mom was a single birth, but her mother had 2 sets of twins, and one of those twins had a set of triplets. Mom and Dad had been trying for a while and were going through fertility treatments and got pregnant for us. My parents did everything they could to make sure we had our own individual personalities and were our own people right down to the point of sending us to different schools so that we can meet our own friends and not be grouped together. I think out of the 5 of us, I'm the one who took that to the extreme. Mom called me today and told me she wanted all of us for a family meeting. She asked me to come early because they wanted to talk to me about the move and get my timeline, and they wanted me to confront my siblings. Before anyone asks about confronting my parents, they are good, they apologised and held themselves accountable for their part. I don't have problems with them. My goal is to be moved by the end of the year. Mom and Dad told me they were going to help as well. So I have a good support group for that alone, since Will also help. I'm going to fly out next week and start looking for a place. The only thing my parents asked for was at least Christmas, which I'm going to try. I finally called out my siblings. specifically Aidan and his wife. I addressed them by saying that they were blaming me for tearing the group apart. I told them this wasn't true, looked directly at Jamie and told her that she started it. I told her that she started it by not putting her foot down and saying I needed to be there. Aidan let it go by, not demanding that I be there since it was also his wedding. Then I looked at Beth, Charlotte and Deanna and told them that they'd sealed the casket by not refusing the invitation to the wedding party. I told them the only two who made their amends were Mom and Dad, and that Dad at least offered to skip the wedding and spend the day with me. But you're welcome because I told him both parents needed to be there. I told them that since then I really don't know how to feel about them. I told them that because of this I honestly don't even try to interact with them anymore because I feel like I hold such little value to them. So why bother? And I took it a step further. I told them that Will and I have been together and that if we get married, none of them will be invited. I may have taken that one a little too far, but at least they know where we all stand with each other. Beth, Charlotte and Deanna stayed quiet. Aidan and Jamie threw Jamie's parents under the bus, saying that for her parents to pay for everything they demanded full control and that included the guest list. There were a lot more people and restrictions that I was unaware of. To me, it was a bunch of crap. Again, thank you for all the wonderful comments. My boyfriend, 23, and I, 22 female, are medium long distance, 2 hours, and only see each other on the weekends. We've been going out to nicer restaurants and bars for dinner and going on cute dates. When we went apple picking, I asked him not to wear Crocs because it's muddy, slippery, etc. It started a mini argument, but eventually he switched to boots. When we went out to dinner that night, he wore the Crocs again. We're planning our Halloween costumes, and the next time we see each other, I ask him if he would wear shoes other than Crocs. More than just the functionality part, they just aren't really what you wear when going to bars or eating at nice restaurants. He even admitted to not wearing Crocs to school, often, PhD, as he dresses nicer for school. I think it's fun picking out cute outfits I know he likes and doing my makeup when I get to see him. When I asked if he doesn't like dressing up when we see each other, he said that it shouldn't matter what you wear. Yes, there's also a reason why people don't wear Crocs to weddings or job interviews. He feels like I'm controlling him by asking him not to wear Crocs, and I guess I am, but I feel like I'm going crazy trying to explain to him why Crocs aren't shoes for every single occasion. I'm not trying to throw his Crocs out or anything, but I just really like it when he dresses a little nicer and doesn't wear sweatpants and Crocs out. He thinks that it's superficial to care about what you look like and that he doesn't think I look prettier when I pick out outfits and do makeup. I love him and think he's cute no matter what, but I really do love it when I know he puts a little effort in. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You're not being controlling by asking him to look nice when you go out to a nice place. You're asking him to be respectful of the occasion and the setting. That's just good manners. He can be bothered to dress nice for school, but not for you. That sucks. I'd be angry as heck too. My husband has a couple pairs of Crocs, but he wouldn't be caught dead wearing them outside of our property or at a campsite. I have bright Barbie pink Crocs for yard work and camping too, but I'd never wear them out in real public. If he shows up again in Crocs when you're supposed to be going out, wipe off all your makeup, throw on a ratty t-shirt and a pair of sweats, then insist you only go to a drive-through fast food place. If it doesn't matter what you look like, why should it matter where you eat? Especially if it's so much trouble for him to dress up nice for you. So, if the situation was reversed and the guy was dictating what his girl could wear, the idiot scale would be out of this world. I'll say you're the idiot, his body, his choices, just as you would expect for yourself. As long as the venues are not turning him away for flouting their dress code, your boyfriend is doing nothing obviously wrong. Some people like to take the time to dress up and be nice. Some people like to spend their time doing something else. My mother's name is Monica. Everyone knows her as Mon, and that's what my dad always called her. I guess that because Mon and Mom are so close, both my brother and I grew up calling her Mon around the house. I vaguely remember she tried to make us call her Mom when we were little, but we were just so used to it that there was no point. And I assume she eventually realised we meant it as a term of endearment, even though once in a while she still reprimanded us for introducing her to a friend like, "This is Mon." Here's where we had an issue. I published my graduation thesis and finally gave my parents a copy. They're included in the dedication precisely as "To Dad and Mon", plus some other acknowledgements. When she went over it, she was like, "Why did you call me Mon here? You called your dad Dad. It makes it seem like you don't have a mother and you're talking about your father's wife." I was a bit shocked by her reaction. Why does she care what others will think, since we both know I'm referring to her and I clearly wasn't trying to snub her in any way? She took the chance of venting about how she's the only mother who never gets to be called Mom and that my brother and I never gave a damn about her feelings. I mean, honestly, she hadn't brought this up in at least 20 years. Am I the idiot? Dad and Mon sounds like you're thanking your father and his new girlfriend, who you're not close enough to give a term of endearment. What have you done to show your mother and the rest of the world how much you love and appreciate her? You are the idiot. My guess, you, your brother and your father have downplayed her feelings. If she makes a big deal, like now, she's making a big deal out of nothing. She can't be upset if she goes along with it. If she asks for you to clarify in certain company that she is, in fact, your mother, then she's being silly and worrying over the wrong things. The rest of you have decided this isn't important. Therefore, it's not important. That poor woman. One wonders how many other things in her life and marriage have gone down exactly this way. Reading the post struck a nerve with me for the same reason. My husband's mom had a nickname for him growing up that he hated, but she ignored him when he asked her not to call him that. So eventually, he stopped asking but would ask other people not to call him that. His mom would always be like, "It's so cute that I'm the only one you let call you that." No, he doesn't let you. You've beat him into submission so that he no longer feels that his request is important. Poor Monica. This is going to sound petty, and I agree that it is, but my girlfriend has been getting annoyed and angry about it. We live together and split rent and bills 50-50. When we go grocery shopping, we'll also split that 50-50. There are some things we get that my girlfriend doesn't eat or drink and vice versa. When it comes to things like snacks, we'll try to split them evenly. When things are individually wrapped, that makes it easy, but some chocolate and biscuits are not wrapped individually. I'll admit that I do end up eating more of these, mainly because my girlfriend rarely has them. Whenever we run out of something, I always end up replacing it. Last night, my girlfriend went for a biscuit and there were only 2 left. She got annoyed and said she'd only had one of them and the packet was nearly empty. I told her I grabbed some when I'm next to her shop, but she just said I shouldn't be eating more than half. I asked what the problem was since I was the one replacing them. She just said it's not fair on her since she's buying half of the groceries. I again repeated that she pays for half of the grocery shop, but not half of the entire groceries as I'm the one regularly replacing things we run out of. She just said again that I was wrong for eating more than half and that I should be more considerate of her. I asked what the problem was when the food was getting replaced, but she just said I shouldn't be doing it. Am I the idiot for eating more than half of the groceries? I don't know, I barely eat sweets, but if my partner and I buy a pack of something to share, I expect my half to be there whenever I decide I want it. I shouldn't be punished for not eating things as fast as him. I pay half and half is mine. It's not good enough that he'll get more later. I wanted them now. They were there, he took them, and they weren't his to take. I'd say you are the idiot. How would you feel if someone had been looking forward to a snack and found it's gone because you weren't fast enough and someone else ate it? And then try that multiple times. I bet you'd be angry too. My ex did this all the time and he would justify it by saying he didn't think I wanted any because they'd been sitting there a few days. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not a pig like you. We bought our groceries weekly, we don't have to eat everything in the first few days. OP, it is really frustrating to have that happen. Please have some empathy for your girlfriend. My dad did this. It was infuriating and caused me to kind of have an eating disorder. I would binge everything because I was so anxious that he would get to it first and inhale it all. I've shaken the habit for the most part, but I'll still hide food sometimes. Reading OP's post made my blood pressure spike. You are the idiot. You already know this, so I don't know why you're asking. I expect you want us to say, "It's okay, dude, you're a man, you need more fuel." Nonsense. You're a glutton with no self-control, and you want us to say you're not doing anything wrong. You're eating almost an entire packet of biscuits to yourself. You're paying 50% of the cost of the packet. She's subsidizing your gluttony. I, 31 female, had a friend, 32 from university, reach out to me asking if she and her sister, 25, could stay at my place on their trips to the country I now live in before going to other cities. I had no problems with this. They flew over and were expected to stay a week at my place. I live in the heart of a very big tourist city. What I didn't know was her sister has some obvious serious anxiety issues related to dogs. She and her sister had no idea about the different regulations around dogs in the country where I am. Malls, restaurants, bakeries, bars and pubs, etc. are almost always dog-friendly, where people's pets are welcome and really, except for grocery shops, they're allowed in and encouraged. Her sister became visibly upset when we went for a walk the first day she came, and she saw dogs without a lead walking around the city with their owners. She started really getting hysterical when we went inside a local Starbucks and she saw the dogs inside at people's feet. We immediately went home and I told her she couldn't really avoid dogs because they'd be out and about. Her sister then told me she didn't want to even leave my place with all these unpredictable dogs and wanted to stay indoors the entire time. I suggested that this week and the following places they will visit will be exactly the same. The sister immediately tells me that they'll just stay at my place for a few weeks and fly home. I told them I wasn't okay with this and that if it seriously was that big of a deal to her, they needed to leave. Am I the idiot for asking them to leave after these changes in circumstances? Not the idiot. 2 reasons. First, you offered 1 week and now they invite themselves for more. Second, you offered 1 week during which they would be out and about, not a week of them in your hair full time. Again, they're the ones changing the rules on you. It would be maybe a little pushy to evict them early for spending too much time in the house. It's not pushy at all to evict them after a week since that's how much time you offered in the first place. Why on earth does this girl travel if she can't handle seeing a dog? That is ridiculous. Good for you for telling them to go. The nerve! There was no prior discussion from your friend about her sister's anxiety towards dogs. That is something your friend would have known, as it was her sister, and should have brought up before visiting. Regardless, it isn't something that's on your plate. It's on theirs. They need to find another place to stay or cancel the trip because dogs are everywhere.